Good evening, everyone. We are opening our pre-meeting for the Human Relations Commission today, November 23rd, and we are in our study session, which is open to the public, and we will open it up for public comments at the end. At this time, we'd like to have the roll call, please.
All right. Mayor Sword Heath. And
She's coming.
Commissioner Andrea Bernard,
Present.
Commissioner Ramos,
Present.
Commissioner Patton, Commissioner Cavazos Frank, present, Commissioner Boone,
Present.
Commissioner Barron, Commissioner Carter, Commissioner Harvat.
Commissioner Pat Harvett and Commissioner Carter are both excused, and we will vote on that at the next meeting. All right. October 26 minutes. We will have a motion at the regular meeting, but hopefully everyone received theirs. If you did not, I'd be glad to send it out to you again. And we would like a treasurer's report. If you have it at this time. Commissioner Boone,
I do not have the treasurer's report at this time.
okay. It's the same,
So, okay,
okay.
all right.
All right, our old business discussion about the items that we would like to talk about for the future, if you would like to discuss that. And having someone to come to the pre-meeting to be our speaker. We do have a speaker for this evening. We're just a little bit delayed on that. So we will be talking about whatever we would like to have for January. So is there anyone that would like to speak on us having someone come for January? Pre-meeting.
An idea that comes to mind, and maybe this would work better as a second town hall, I'm not sure. But since we were missing a couple of people from our town hall, maybe it would be nice to have them and maybe another homeless shelter come and give us information. Again, maybe that'll work better as a town hall. I'm not quite sure, but I want to make sure that you all had the idea.
It would be good for us to bring the sharing the warmth. They were not able to speak with us, and also the domestic violence program. I did see one of the people from there today, and I told them that we would love to have them to come sometime soon. So if we would like to send out an invitation again, we can vote on that in the next meeting to have them to come, those two. We also could also invite the health department to come to just give an update if you would like us to do that by January. We should have more information that we would need to know about. And I think we had a lot of good information that came through the health department on Thursday's town hall meeting. So if that is what we would like to do, is there any other desired agencies we would like to have?
I was kind of thinking that January's, instead of having another event, because we've got like holidays and stuff in between, that's kind of hard to plan with people through December, that maybe we could do our January pre-meeting just be like a goal setting meeting, and we could brainstorm like what we would want to have as like official goals, because I know the continuum has like specific, what are they? It starts with an A. Objectives. There we go. Goals and
Objectives.
objectives for the year. So maybe we could do a January pre-meeting, discuss those, and that would give us a couple months to come up with stuff like that. And then talk about it in the pre-meeting, and then we can have like official goals to vote on in the regular meeting for January.
That
So it
sounds-
could kind of be like, this is what we want to do for 2022 kind of a thing. That was just my
that
idea.
sounds good.
I like that idea.
And then we wouldn't have to try and plan and bother people through December and right after the holidays and stuff.
And then we would have a structure, more of a
Turn your mic
structure
on.
or a flow to it.
But it feels like we were, I feel like we would have more of a flow, more of a structure, and then if it changes, it would be okay. But at least we'd have something set in stone like we have had in previous years.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking, like, okay, we want to do 4 events. These are some ideas for those events. And then what we can do in between, just like, I don't know, little things that we wanted to work on that maybe people have brought up to us. I know Adali had mentioned making sure that all of our promotional stuff is in Spanish as well. So like maybe making that a specific goal, and then we pay attention to it for all the little things afterwards. Just little stuff like that, along with the events planning, stuff like that.
Well, one thing that we did in the past few years, we didn't get to do it as much last year because of the shutdown. But what we did is had a couple of the team members of the commissioner subcommittee, if possible, to meet and bring back to the commission, the whole group, ideas of suggestions. So what I would like to do, instead of just having 2 people to do that, maybe what we can do is come prepared with ideas, suggestions, and make contact with those people that are willing to participate in maybe the town hall or be willing to come to our pre-meeting. We can also bring them to our regular meeting as well. So if we would like to dedicate most of our regular meeting for those that can't come at 6 o'clock, maybe we could do that. So we also want to talk about the agencies that were not able to come or wanted to give more information. They're willing to come again if we want to. I've been hearing from community people, they very much enjoyed all of the speakers. Some of them were longer than others, but they enjoyed all of the speakers and got good information. That's the key, the good information. And if we would keep in touch with the health department, because they've been keeping us posted and they've been coming up with things that we need to really do right now. I did hear on the news that Michigan is the highest area has the most new cases of COVID in the whole United States. Now, that is not good for most of us. So we really need to keep up with that. I think 49% of the people that have COVID now is in Michigan, the new cases. That's a high number. That's almost half of the people that have COVID. That doesn't mean that half of the people in Michigan, that's half of the people that have COVID. So that's something we need to talk about on a regular, as long as we can get that update from the health department and they come and share other parts of the health department operations. That would be good, because she did mention a lot of areas that I knew about, because we had to do the well and we had to do other things that, her department is really working hand in hand with this community, and things that we really need to know about and our community people need to know. So is there any other area that we would like to have come in? Okay, and then what we want to do while you are checking is to see how many town halls we want to do in a year. Right now, so far this year, we've done 2. And we planned 3. We couldn't do that 3rd one because we did, instead of a town hall with the police department, we did the cook-off and hot dogs and and First Friday. So that went off really well. And that's maybe something else we can plan with them, or we can plan to do it on our own. So that's something to think about. Thinking about homeless shelters, thinking about the homeless people that are not in the shelter, people that need housing. That is something that all of us are concerned about. And I'd like to know more about what we're doing on the east side of Adrian with all of the buildings that are going up. There's a couple going up out by Consumer Energy. And what's going to happen to some of the abandoned buildings, because we talked about the blight on the east side, but there's blight all over the city in terms of if we talk about abandoned buildings or no use in the building. So
If it's by Consumers Energy, it's actually Madison Township. So
that's true.
that's why,
It
yeah.
is. That's why.
that's why I don't know. I was like,
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
Um,
It-
but I do know, I did talk to Kelly Castleberry from, that does Share the Warmth. We were at an event for the Lenawee Community Foundation on Friday, and she said that she thinks, maybe we just had too much chunked out anyway, so maybe it was for the best that her and Jill, couldn't make it from Catherine Cobb, but that they would be more than willing. She's sure Jill would too, and she thinks that might be good. We bring them in for the next time and maybe not have as many, obviously, so that there's time, but that she's more than willing and would still love to come. She just had an emergency that evening, and so.
Okay. Well, any other discussion on some of the things that we'd like to do? Are we thinking of maybe a town hall meeting, or are we talking about having them come to the pre-meeting or at a regular meeting? That's what we have to think about when we put that together. Okay. Any other suggestions? I would like for us to have an update on our police department and some of the things that they're going to be doing. And so it would be nice to have our chief to maybe come to a meeting prior to maybe setting up something for him to do in this next year, okay?
Along with that, next year, I'd also like to do the homeownership seminar. Fran's here to give us information about it again. We've done this once before, but for those of you that weren't there for it, she'll give you a reminder about it. And yeah, I can say the program worked great for me, so I definitely encourage us to bother to put on town hall with it and get out to as many people as possible.
Okay, what we would like to give her as much time as we can for her to present to us at this time. So I'm going to ask our Commissioner Romas if he would introduce you and present. You can speak from there.
Okay.
Okay.
Commissioner Ramos here, and I would like to again welcome Fran to come talk to us about homeownership seminar. Again, it worked out wonderfully for me. I was able to get into a house after being homeless for an extended period off and on, and with some of the other resources not able to help me, partially because there's a lot of people in need of help. Fran's program with, at the time, First Federal, now Premier, was able to get me housed, and now I'm a homeowner.
Yep.
So I'll go and turn it over to Fran.
Okay, thanks for having me. So Joaquin invited me here to kind of tell you what we had and see if you guys were interested in it. When we did the seminar last time, we did it at the church. And we just, they handled inviting people. They let us know how many was going to be there. And then we did really kind of, yep.
For the record, we need you to say who you are and say your position at the
Oh,
bank, if you
absolutely.
would.
Yep, my name is
Thank you.
Fran Brandt, and I'm from Premier Bank, and I'm a Vice President, the Area Retail Sales Manager and Lender at the bank. Mhm.
Thank you.
So this program that we did, it worked out very well. It was very informal. where you guys would invite people, let us know how many. We can do kind of the same format if you want. We just kind of got up, talked about our program, and then we brought in some pizza and pop, and people were able to stay to have a bite to eat afterwards. The program that we have put together, we call it our community mortgage loan. It's 100% financing, but it's geared toward low to moderate income families. So one of the qualifying factors is we have to take that year's area median income, and it's 80% of that. So that's what qualifies someone for that program. Like right now, the household income can't exceed, it's about 55,000. So it is geared toward that group of individuals. It is 100% financing program. So people can borrow 100% of the sales price. There's no restrictions on where the property is located. So unlike if you've heard about some of the programs that we also participate in, the Rural Development or USDA, that is also 100% financing, but the blackout area is the city of Adrian. And we found that there's a need for that. I mean, that's where the houses are, and we didn't have any programs. So this particular program, it does not matter where the house is located. We can finance it as long as they meet the income requirements and credit requirements. And it's loosened up quite a bit from a conventional loan. So it helps people that maybe can't get a conventional loan because either they don't have enough credit or they've had other things happen. This one is just kind of there's some stipulations that they have to have, but not near as tight as that. The other nice thing about that particular program is they're allowed to get gift money or a seller concession for closing costs. All that we require is that somewhere in the transaction, they put at least $500 of their money into it. So it can be toward the closing costs, can be paying their first year's insurance, but they don't have to have a big cash flow. Even the 500 can be gift money. So, but it just can't, the full amount can't come from the sellers. We allow the seller to contribute up to 6% of the sales price toward their closing costs. So again, in most cases, they can get through that program with very little, if not zero, of their own funds. We do have an online home buyers class. Do you remember that? It takes about an hour. It's a free class that we have them go through just to, kind of learn home ownership, some of the ins and outs of it, to help educate them a little bit about that. So that was the program that we came to present. It's a program that's an in-house program through our bank, and it is a fixed rate. So it's not any of these crazy variables. We'll go 30 years, 15, 20, whatever they want, but it is a fixed rate mortgage that we do factor in their taxes and their insurance into it. So that's the home ownership program piece. But if this is something you guys decide that you'd like us to do, what I would also like to do is bring in our consumer lender, because we have another program that I think would help the same group of people. Well, it's for people that already own a home that maybe need a repair. We've got, it's called our Better Together Home Loan. And we also did that for you also. The advantage of that particular program is you do have to be a homeowner. You have to own your home, but you don't have to have equity in your home because it's going to be an unsecured loan. It helps people that maybe did do 100% financing and either something happened, they need a new well, or they need something work done, but they don't have the equity. So we put together a low down payment, or a low interest, short-term kind of loan for them for that.
So this isn't something where they're getting ready to buy the house and they find out something's wrong. This is something right after maybe they just own it and they just don't have any equity in it.
Correct. Or for someone that already owns a home
Okay.
in that. So it doesn't have to go hand in hand with the community mortgage. In our community mortgage, we've done some enhancements to it. So in the past, it couldn't have any repairs necessary. Now, if there's a minor one, we can help with that at the time that they buy it. So this is kind of two different things. So maybe I just thought it might be something that you wanted to do together. If not, it could be a completely different topic for another day, but we're finding, there's a lot of places that need, or people that need some repairs, or what we're seeing at the bank is sometimes people are losing their homeowner's insurance because they need a roof repair and they're unable to get insurance, but they don't qualify. And so this program kind of helps them get that repair so they can get some inexpensive insurance in there.
And,
And that-
and I think that would be really beneficial for a lot of our community, because
Yeah.
I think there are a lot of them don't know that's out there, and I'm hearing that same thing.
Yep. And now that one, the income restrictions, I mean, it's kind of the same group, but it's actually loosened up a little too. So that particular program, they don't necessarily have to have low to moderate income if their house is in a low to moderate census tract. So a lot of Adrian is considered low to moderate. So then it doesn't matter what they make, the house itself qualifies. So that helps again with some of the improvements, especially if you've got dual income families. Sometimes that income thing can, gets met pretty quickly. So, and that one, we have a three-parter to it. We have one that is energy efficiency. So if someone wanted to put in like a new energy efficient appliance or a furnace or something, there's one that one has a maximum loan amount of 2,500. It's a 4% rate for up to 5 years. And so like windows, energy efficient doors, a furnace, insulation, just a smaller repair for that. The other one is up to $10,000. And that one is a 6% rate for up to 7 years. So they could take that out for that one. And that's for any type of home improvement. So it doesn't necessarily have to be the energy efficient, or things like that. But if they, again, a roof repair, they needed to put a deck on, or they just needed to update some things, that one works for that. And then the third one is for someone that wants to do that stuff, but maybe the house, they make too much money and the house is not in a low to moderate. We're still going to help them, but it is still 10,000, but it's a 8% rate for 5 years instead of the 7 or 6% rate for 7 years. So again, it's still out there to try to capture those people. They're just not going to get, the benefit of what someone else is going to get with it being in that census tract or a low to moderate income. So it's either or on that. It can't be used. The only, restriction pretty much is can't be used for things like hot tubs, pools, that type of thing, the luxury things, but it's for virtually any other type of home improvement on that. So that's just a unsecured, some people might call it a second mortgage, but we're not filing a mortgage. So when they go to sell the house, it's not something that has to be paid, or it's not going to keep them if they decide they need to sell the house before they have enough equity. They're not going to have to come to the table with money for that. They just continue paying on that. So just something that he had mentioned that maybe you guys might be interested in doing here. And that we're happy to help. We do a lot of these. It's a program we put together several years ago. Our Premier, it's followed through as Premier, but Premier was just a name change, not a buyout or anything. So it was still, our same First Federal.
Could you also mention something about the credit building?
Like the,
Part of what you had helped us with.
yeah, oh, absolutely. So when people, sometimes they just aren't going to qualify. So if people come in, we do the pre-approval process, just like we would do on any other type of loan. So if there's an issue, we're going to help them with what they need to do so that we can do it down the road. This program really, again, it's enhanced. So normally like a conventional loan, you've got to have a couple trade lines, a couple credit cards, or things enough to give you a high credit score or build up credit. In this particular program, we just need one account with a 12-month history with no lates on it. If they don't have that, we can use alternative credit. So if it's someone that's been renting for 12 months, has had gas or electric in their name for 12 months, as long as they haven't had any late payments in the last 12 months, we can do that. But we're going to counsel them on, if they just aren't in a position at that moment to buy, what do they need to do so that we can do that? So we do that, and there's no cost to do any of that piece of it. And I love doing that. I mean, I have people that I've worked with for years and years, and it's very exciting when they finally get to that point where we go, we can do it. We're ready. Let's go. So that's just something we offer, and thought it might be a good fit, or get it out there to reach other people that might have that need. Any questions on it?
Do you have to be a member of your banking
No,
institute?
no, we're not like some of the credit unions, you have to have an account. I mean, we would love to have your accounts, and we appreciate the accounts, but to me, I've always said, I see no reason to open up a $5 savings or checking if you're never going to use it, just so that you can get that. So no, absolutely. You don't have to have anything else with us, even though we would love to have it, but it's not a requirement.
So what would be the first thing that you would set up for a person coming in that's in a low to moderate area? I would say number 2, wanting repairs. What would be the process itself?
Okay, so if someone already owns the home and it's a low to moderate and they need a repair, then what we have them do is come in we'll tell them what they need, a pay stub. They come in with and meet with one of our consumer lenders right there at the same office that I'm located at. And then they'll go through the process with them. And usually those types of loans, because it's not real estate backed, we don't have to get appraisals. We don't have to do stuff like that. So quite often they're ready to go. Some people walk out same day with the funds, if not the next day. So that's a very quick process. When you start attaching real estate, there's so many requirements with title work and appraisals, but for that home improvement piece, with that one, just to give you some of the parameters for that, we can go up to a 45%, what we call debt to income. So we're normally, banks want to see it a little bit lower. We will take it up to that 45% debt to income, as long as they're comfortable with it. We don't want to go beyond that because we don't want to put them in a position to fail either.
Right.
So on that, credit score, a minimum credit score is 620. So that's quite a bit lower than the norm on other programs in that. So they'd have to have a good credit score. Now, sometimes, just so you know, we might have a couple, and maybe one person's credit score is a 580, but the other person's is a 625. If that person with the 625 has enough income to support the payment on their own, we can do that too.
Oh, okay.
So you don't have to have both people that own the home on the loan, as long as the person we're financing is an owner of the home.
Qualifies.
So we do that quite often with that, but they have to, and when we do that, we only have to use the debts that person has.
Okay.
So if the other second person has maybe student loans or things that are only in their name, we're not having to hit our borrower with that information. Anything that's joint, we do have to include in their debt ratio, but anything else. So sometimes it's a case where they both have their credit is fine, but maybe having the other person on, they don't bring a lot of income to the table and they have a lot of debts. So we'll leave someone off for that reason too, so we look at, see how can we structure it so that we can make it work.
So does your bank solicit individuals, and how do you go about
Well, just by-
recruiting individuals that are in it?
Really, it's more by word of mouth. We try, like our real estate agents know about it. People that have used the program, they spread the word. We have, sometimes they'll do like a campaign and they'll kind of put some stuff out there. We have contacted people like the heating and cooling people that are, have people come into them that need new furnaces. Hey, this program's out there in case you get someone that's in need of that.
Mhm.
You know, so we've gotten reached out to some of the contractors. It's just not, I believe it is on our website, but it's, that's really what we do. It's just more word of mouth and us getting out and trying to make sure people know it's out there. Me, myself personally, when people come in to get pre-qualified for a mortgage, most of the time they assume, oh, I need this regular 20% down or a conventional loan or that.
Mhm.
And then that's where then we will look at it and go, hey, we've got a better program for you, and that's where we'll figure out which program they fit best into. So sometimes people come in for something else and they leave with that program, so
Mhm.
that's kind of how we have done it. And we have a CRE officer that's based out of our Ohio office that kind of spreads the word too. Mhm.
Okay, on number one, the energy efficient one for 2,500.
Yep,
You said that's 4% rate interest,
that's a 4% for up to 5 years.
5 years.
Yep, that's a
Okay.
5-year one, and that one has to be used for energy efficient things like furnaces, hot water heaters, windows, doors, insulation, something like
Okay.
that.
Okay.
Not like, oh, I want a new kitchen cabinets and counters. The others can be for that, but
Yes, that's good.
that's specifically for that. program.
So the length of time that it takes to qualify for that.
We do it
would
right when
be-
they're there. I mean, as long as they've got, bring in the information that we need. So we usually ask them to bring a pay stub, their W-2s. Like on my end, the mortgage piece of it, I need pay stub, their last 2 years tax returns and W-2s, and their most recent bank statements.
Okay.
And then we do it right while they're there. We pull credit, and same thing when we do this type of loan too. When they come in for their appointment, as long as they have the information, we need to be able to accurately calculate their income and things. We do it right while they're there.
I know a couple individuals that are looking for housing. Does the bank own any property, like foreclosed into properties or any properties
Right.
that they have access to?
To buy off of
Yeah,
us.
because I know they have enough money. They do have a little bit of credit. I don't know what the credit is,
Right,
but
right.
if
they're looking for
they
foreclosures.
can't find the housing, not even to rent.
Right.
So I'm thinking possibly what you're saying is possible to get a loan. And Commissioner Ramos is saying how powerful this program has been for him, and his family.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have bank-owned foreclosure or bank-owned properties. The part of the reason we don't is most of the loans, like these conventional loans that we do,
Mhm.
are backed by Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. We're the
Okay.
servicer, so our clients always work with us. But if those properties go back, then we take it through the whole process. But when it gets to the end, it's not ours to sell. It's Fannie Mae's or Freddie Mac's to sell. So it's not on our books. Occasionally, we will get a property, but to be honest, they tend to be more commercial properties, not residential. Because honestly, we try to work with them. If they have the desire to stay in the house, we are trying to do everything we can to keep them out of a foreclosure position. If they need to sell the house, we try to help them get it sold, even if it comes to like a short sale or things like that.
Mhm,
Because
mhm.
I always tell people, we're in the business to finance the properties, not to sell real estate. So we never
Exactly.
want a house back, but it does happen sometimes. We just don't happen to have any on our books right now that are residential.
Yeah, I was just thinking of the people that are homeless that
Yeah.
may have enough money coming in monthly
Mhm.
that could qualify
Yep.
based on what you're telling us.
Yep. Yeah, that's the tricky thing in this market right now. There is a huge housing shortage. Properties that are going up for sale are selling very, very
They are.
quickly. And that's part of why we, like real estate agents, they may come in and get pre-approved ahead of time because they need to, if they love the house, they need to write an offer. Because if they don't, when they pull
They
out that
lose.
driveway, there's 10 more people. Yeah.
Mhm.
Especially when it's a nice house in good condition. And again, till there's more, the inventory is the problem. And some of the foreclosures are fine. They're not a problem. Like a big foreclosure company that handles a lot of the Fannie and Freddie owned foreclosures is Goddard Company. So they could always reach out to them, or Goddard Real Estate. They handle Fannie Mae's and VAs and a lot of the foreclosures. The tricky thing with that is it needs to be in good livable condition, because if they're going 100% financing, the assumption is they don't have a ton of money to rehab this place. Some of the foreclosures are perfectly fine. Others are, even Goddard Real Estate will say, this one's a cash offer only. When you see things like that that's out there, it means they already know there's issues that they can't be financed. So a lot of times those are the ones that maybe an investor will gobble up, because they might use their house and do a home equity line or cash out to buy it, rehab it, and then sell it or rent it. But yeah, it's, you just have to be real careful on the foreclosures, because the other thing is a lot, if it's a necessary repair, a lot of these foreclosure companies will not let the clients touch the property, and they aren't willing to do it. So that will cause it to be a cash sale again, because they can't do anything until they own it, but they can't own it till it's fixed. So they're kind of in a catch-22.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Or
Yeah.
is it legal housing, meaning that it's up to standard?
Right,
Mhm.
right. And some of them are not. And again, that's another reason why it's going to say cash only and not financeable, because they won't waste their time. They already know, they know that the appraisal is not going to come back. And because any financing is going to be contingent on the appraisal, whether it be the community program or a conventional program. If they're buying a house for 50,000 and it only appraises at 30, we're kind of stuck. If the seller will reduce it, great. But if they won't, the borrower has to make that shortfall, and they usually aren't going to want to pay more than what the value is. Or if there's any major issues with it, foundation problems, things that are high ticket items.
Absolutely. Well, are there any other questions that we have for Fred?
I have one question. The homeowners, home buyers program, is that program also partnered with MISTA in the homeowners down payment assistance program?
It's not a partnership. No, this is just our exclusive program, but people have, at certain times of the year, like MISTA will have funds, and even we will get funds usually in May, but they go within a couple weeks from for down payment assistance through different programs, and we split it up to 5,000 a person, but you have to have a purchase agreement. So yes, they could use MISTA as for closing costs and things if they're able to get that type of loan. Now, I do also do the financing for Habitat for Humanity. In the Habitat homes, we have a program in place to help them too, so that we can get them their money back to build the next house. And I can only think of one that did not use MISTA funds. So they usually get the down payment assistance program up to $12,000, depending on their situation, for a Habitat home. But yeah, we don't service the MISTA, so it would have to be MISTA through an agency in connection. Yeah.
Excellent. Any other questions anyone else have?
I guess I'll just, so when we done before, what was it, like an hour and then a little bit more from the pizza party? Sound about right?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, the actual talking and going through the program with people, because we left time, if they
We
had
did.
questions and that. I would say we were within about an hour, and then we just had another hour or so with some food and
Yeah, some chatting and enjoying
yeah, and people
pizza.
talked then, but most people, they had really great questions and
Mhm,
things too.
mhm.
So, because to walk through the program itself is not that lengthy. In the end, it's, if it's something they're interested, then we have them come in and we set a time aside to pull their individual credit and their stuff. But
So you're open to us setting up a time to
Yeah.
do this again?
yep, absolutely.
is there any particular month that is the best time that you would think that would be good?
For me, I'm open. So whenever you guys want to do it, I don't typically, December is not a good
No,
month because of
no,
the
no.
holiday and
We're talking
no.
next year.
yeah, yeah. We tend to see more activity in this early springtime where people are getting ready. I think more of that is because then people that have kids in school, they don't really want to disrupt or move out of their area. And they want to, but yet they want to be ready so that they're in whatever school district they want to be in before school starts the next time. So that's when we tend to see a lot of the stuff pick up. A lot of people that are going to list houses, they're doing it year round now, versus
Yes.
before, but it's always heavier in the spring. No one wants to go out and be tromping around in the 3 feet of snow or not knowing, where they can't see things. But
And then learning about the program, and you said it takes about an hour for the program itself.
Mhm.
But when you go to the individuals, how much time are you spending with the
Well,
individuals?
to be honest, usually about 2 hours they're in my office because we do a lot of educating, a lot of questions, and it depends on how many questions they have, but I walk them through the whole process and then do all of our, questions and fill out the application and pull their credit. But depending on how much counseling or at what point they're ready, or if they, a lot of times these are people's first homes. So they have a lot of
Mhm.
questions. So I spend a
Mhm.
lot of time explaining what is an escrow? What does that mean? What is a tax proration if, even though that's not part of us, but that's something they're going to encounter when they meet with a
Encountering.
real estate agent. So I usually tell them to set aside 2 hours, but anywhere from an hour to 2, depending on how long they want to stay. But I usually set aside 2 hours just to be safe. Like that's why I was a minute late, because that was my 4 o'clock and I just finished with them. So
Wow.
yeah, because they had a lot of questions, and that's fine. That's what we're there for. That's what we want to do. We want it so that it's a very smooth process so that there's no surprises. We don't want them to get to a closing and go, wait, what do you mean? I need this or that. We try to get them educated and prepped so that they know exactly what to expect.
Mhm. Thank you
So-
so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Commissioner
You're
Ramos, you want to close us out with her?
Again, thank you so much both for coming and sharing information and for all the help in past. And I'm definitely excited to see another home ownership
Yep.
seminar. I'll of
Well-
course contact you and we'll figure out, but I would definitely like to push on the commission to do so in spring.
Sure, absolutely. That sounds
Mhm.
great. And you know how to reach me. And so thank you for your time. And if you guys, any of you have questions too, always feel free to reach out before then if you think of something that you didn't tonight. So,
Okay, if there's anything that you'd like us to know about, if you would forward it to Commissioner
Sure.
Reynolds and he can forward it to all of
Sure.
us, we'd
Okay.
appreciate it so much. He's been doing a great job
Yes,
keeping
he
up
does.
with you because his experience has been great and we
Yes.
appreciate that so
well,
much.
it's always nice to have someone that's been through the process too,
Mhm,
so they
mhm.
know and
Mhm.
can firsthand
Yeah,
say.
he keeps
this
us
is-
posted, making sure that you
Yep.
get here too.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep, that works. So, okay, well, then just when you guys kind of decide, and then we'll go through the planning thing of how you want to
Set it up,
set it up and
Okay.
where and
location.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, well,
Thank you so much
You're
for your
welcome. Thanks
time.
for inviting me. Now
I-
I'm back to the office.
All
I
right.
do have one more quick question for you, actually. So you prefer to do it indoors, right?
Do indoors?
Yes, the home ownership seminar.
Probably, I would say only because of weather.
Mhm.
Yes.
Then it doesn't matter whether it's cold or rainy or not, but
I just want to make sure to clarify. Thank you.
yeah, and I think like when we did it at the church, it's kind of the setup where people had chairs and they can sit and ask and do questions and that, but I'm open for whatever you guys feel works best for you, so. I'll
Okay.
just be here. All right. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
again.
We
See you.
appreciate it.
Bye. Thanks.
Bye-bye. All right. Well, we have time for other discussion of items. That would be number B rather. Anything we have to discuss? before our next meeting?
Do we need to talk about December at all in pre-meeting? Or are we all on the same page for the regular meeting?
We do need to talk about December in terms of whether we want to have a meeting in December. That is the Christmas week, which we're scheduled to do. And to defer that, we would need to do that in our regular meeting. So I would need a motion for us to do that if you all want to discuss at this time. What are you thinking? And we will not vote until the regular meeting.
I would also like a clarification. Traditionally, we don't have a December meeting, correct?
Traditionally, we do not. We've been foregoing that because it's the last Tuesday of the month and the year. So we have not, since I've been on, we've not had a meeting in December.
Is it possible to vote or in the regular meeting to not have a meeting on that last Tuesday of December continually
Yes.
instead of doing it every single year?
Well, I think we probably have to vote each year because of Public Act. So we need to vote each year, but we can't, we can't foresee what the future is going to be. But we certainly can do it for in November for the December meeting.
Okay.
So that is a good idea, but I would like to take out a couple summers months too,
Yeah, I
but
think,
we can't do that.
yeah, I
So
think it was something, the bylaws, that wasn't written quite correct for that.
so we will be needing a motion in the regular meeting for us not to have the December meeting. And then we will forward that to the mayor and the mayor will take care of it for us. Okay. All right. Any other discussion before we can take a break until our next meeting? I want to open it up for public comment. If there is any comment online or here. Hearing none. Is there any commissioner comments tonight?
As I sent an email to all the commissioners regarding the complaint application, so that you should have, I just sent it a little while ago, so yeah, Vaughn, so you should have it in your email, please, yeah.
Okay, since we are not going to be meeting in December, sounds like we probably need to talk a little bit about it at our regular meeting. Okay, so we will add that to, we will need a motion to add that to our agenda, okay, for the next meeting, okay? All right, any other commissioner comments? Okay, announcements. Let us not forget the MLK dinner that's going to be in January the 17th at the Tobias Room at Adrian College. The cost is $25 and we're hoping all of us can attend. We have limited to 200 people. And because of the space that they have there, it's going to be spaced out 6 at a table. And hopefully we will have our numbers pretty soon. So if you're interested in coming, please let me know. And also let the mayor know, because we're hoping we get a table. Okay. All right. And knowing that you won't be able to sit at the same table too. We can't have a quorum at the table. Unfortunately. Okay. Any other announcements?
I'll go ahead and announce, because of the booster, a little less enthusiastically than normal, but I'll go ahead and announce that there will be second Friday in December, on December 10th. It will be at, D'Angelo, correct me if I'm wrong, but 301 South Tecumseh Street. And it will be available in person unless the situation changes, and on Facebook.
It will be in person and Facebook.
Yes,
Okay. And that is going to be location what?
301 South Tecumseh Street, unless Danny told me I'm
301
wrong.
South Tecumseh Street. Okay,
Yep, right next to Parish Park.
okay.
And I, I just announced that One Voice Linaway has had his first show. This past Monday, Dr. Yarrow from ProMedica was the guest speaker for that. And the show airs every second and fourth Monday, live on YouTube. So just encouraging different ones to join, to sign up for. We've got some pretty nice speakers signed up for the next couple shows, and a lot of rich information regarding the vaccinations as well. So
Can you forward us that link or information to our emails?
yes,
Okay, that would be great.
that's a different one. Yeah. I'll get that forwarded. And also there's a Facebook page created for One Voice Linaway as well. That and I'll get that information out as well.
Okay, we appreciate that. It'd be a lot easier than writing it all down right now. Okay, if there are no other comments or announcements, we will close out this meeting and we will adjourn until 7 o'clock and we'll be back for the regular meeting.
I motion to adjourn the pre-meeting.
Second,
I second.
all in favor?
I.
Aye. Good evening, everyone. This is the regular meeting for the Human Relations Commission for November 23, 2021, 7 p.m. Commission meeting call to order. Let's stand, pledge of allegiance, and a time of silence. All right, roll call at this time.
Mayor Heath,
Present?
Commissioner Bernard,
Present.
Commissioner Boone,
Present.
Commissioner Ramos,
Present.
Commissioner Frank,
Present?
Commissioner Patton, present. And Commissioner Harvat and Commissioner Dillon is absent,
And Carter.
and Carter.
I need a motion for the excusing of the three that are not present tonight. Commissioner Barron, Commissioner Carter, and Commissioner Harvat.
I motion to excuse our 3 absent commissioners. Commissioner up.
Commissioner Boone, I second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Frank,
Excusing the absence of the 3.
Oh, I thought you were doing the roll call.
I am,
Oh, okay. Yes.
yes. Commissioner Boone,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramos,
Yes.
Mayor Heath,
Yes.
Commissioner Bernard,
Yes.
Commissioner Patton, yes. Passes with the unanimous vote.
Thank you. Approval of the pre-meeting minutes for October 26, 2021. If we all received those, we'd like a motion to receive those minutes at this time.
I motion to approve the October pre-meeting minutes.
Second,
Commissioner Boone, I second.
roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Frank,
Present. Present. Sorry, my computer's being weird and it's freaking me out. Yes.
Commissioner Boone,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramos,
Yes.
sorry. Mayor Heath,
Yes.
Commissioner Bernard,
Yes.
Commissioner Patton, yes. Passes with the unanimous vote.
Thank you. I need the regular meeting minutes approval for October 26, 2021. Motion,
I move to approve the minutes of the regular meeting for October 26, 2021.
I second.
roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Frank,
Yes.
Commissioner Boone,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramos,
Yes.
Mayor Heath,
Yes.
Commissioner Bernard,
Yes.
Commissioner Patton, yes. Passes with unanimous vote.
Are there any additions to the regular meeting agenda?
I move to add to the regular meeting agenda to, I'm trying to think, I say this, sorry, to not have a December meeting for the year of 2021 for the Human Relations Commission.
I second the motion.
It is properly moved and second that we have no December meeting 2021 this year. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Frank,
Yes.
Commissioner Boone,
No.
Yes.
Commissioner Ramos,
Yes.
Mayor Heath,
Yes.
Commissioner Bernard,
Yes.
Commissioner Patton, yes. Passes with unanimous vote.
Any other agenda items?
Commissioner Boone, I motion to have the complaint form that was submitted added to the agenda.
I second the motion.
Roll call vote.
Commissioner Frank,
Yes.
Commissioner Boone,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramos,
Yes.
Mayor Heath,
Yes.
Commissioner Bernard,
Yes.
Commissioner Patton, yes.
All right. So approval of the regular meeting agenda. Motion, please. With the additions.
I motion to approve the regular meeting agenda with the noted additions.
I second.
Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Frank,
Yes.
Commissioner Boone,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramos,
Yes.
Mayor Heath,
Yes.
Commissioner Bernard,
Yes.
Commissioner Patton, yes. Passes with unanimous vote.
All right, our old business, let's put on the agenda the December meeting for 2021 this year, that there will be no meeting. So any discussion on that?
I would just like to clarify again, this is traditionally a thing that we do and is nothing out of the norm that for us.
Okay. Any other comments or anything before we vote? All right, open for a motion to have no December meeting this year, 2021, for the Human Relations Commission.
Commissioner Ramos, I motion for us to not have a December meeting for 2021.
Commissioner Boone, I second.
Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Frank,
Yes.
Commissioner Boone,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramos,
Yes.
Mayor Heath,
Yes.
Commissioner Bernard,
Yes.
Commissioner Patton, yes. Passes with unanimous vote.
Also noted in that we are regularly do not have a December meeting, and that is part of the information for this movement, this vote. All right, the next one is a complaint that we received, and I'd like it to be presented by Commissioner Boone.
Okay, I had it up, I took it down. There we go. Okay. There was an incident that took place at the Hampton Inn. Sorry. There was an incident that took place at the Hampton Inn on November 6th, that evening. Dealing with two people of color and a attendant that was at the hotel as well. And the situation didn't go the way that it was supposed to. The individuals that were trying to check into the hotel, I had pre-reserved their rooms, traveling to Adrian from Pennsylvania. And when they arrived at the hotel, they were getting ready to check in. The room was available for them at the time of the check-in. And they asked the attendant to hold up on the payments until I got there, because I was going to treat and pay for the room for them. And by the time that I got there, the attendant said the room was no longer available, or that they had no reservation. And when it was asked, well, what happened to the room? They just said that there's no rooms available, that they're all booked up. And when I got there, I watched the attendant check in several Caucasian individuals while we were standing there. And when we asked the attendant again, why can't we get a room? They responded that there was no rooms available. When we asked about the other individuals that were coming in, they said that they already have reservations, which I asked one of the customers, when did they make the reservation? And they had made the reservation after the reservation of these other two women were made, but they were still giving rooms, and she was still passing out keys to rooms while we were waiting there. And we've got this all on video because one of the ladies did record this as well. And while I was still trying to talk to one of the ladies there and get an understanding, it was then stated that the attendant said that she was going to call the police on us, and that we were trespassing, that we had to get out, that we had to leave the property. And we asked why we had to leave the property. We weren't being disruptive. No one was allowed to be argumentative. And her response was, "I'm calling the police. Y'all have to leave the premises." So that's when I contacted the Mayor Heath and had a conversation. And a little while after, the police arrived, and I had a conversation with the police officers as well. And after a while, we went into went outside the property, and we actually noticed another car with women of color that came to go into the hotel to get their rooms. And we sat and waited because we wanted to see if they would get a room as well. And they later came out and the hotel said that there were no rooms available. And when we left out, they were still checking. The lady was still checking people in. So it just raised a lot of concerns. It's a really unpleasant situation. And my fear, my concern is that in situations like of that nature, where it's that easy for somebody to call the police, even though it's not warranted. Because at that point, we were really trying to figure out what was our next move, where were we going? Because Super 8 Holiday Inn was booked, and there was an event going on in town. So we found that a lot of rooms were gone. So it really wasn't warranted. We don't know what happened to the room. One of the ladies that's with me used to work for Hampton, and she was actually on the phone with their headquarters office, the corporate office. because Hampton has a policy that if by chance they overbook a room, that they're supposed to accommodate up in some form or fashion. When I later asked the lady again, are there any rooms? Her answer kept changing and went from there's no rooms to there's 14 rooms, but none of them are clean. And we also stated that we would gladly wait for them to prepare a room for us. And she didn't respond to that at all. Her response was, y'all have to leave. And that's kind of how the night went. And we have it on, we do have the incident on video, and Chief Emmerich said that he will make available a copy of the police cam as well.
Any questions?
Does anyone have any questions about the complaint that's been brought to us?
I will let you know that I reached out as well to, I knew that we knew how to get a hold of the person that does own the hotel. So that next Monday, because that was a Saturday night. So on Monday, I did reach out to our city administrator who I knew how to get a hold of that owner, and he did. And the response was that they were, they look at every complaint with great concern, and they were looking into it, and they were, and taking it to corporate, but I've heard nothing since then. And I was planning to follow up since I had not heard anything since then. But I did take it to that level to make sure that the owner knew and that the management knew what had happened and that they needed to be looking into this. And it was a very serious concern, and there were some serious allegations coming because of it.
And I would like to point out that this was with Commissioner Boone being a part of it. Would we have heard about this otherwise? How often is this happening that we don't hear about?
Well, usually we do not hear about it when it happens. However, being in this community, we don't expect it to be happening, but we've had that happen even at the other hotels and even to the lodge, Carlton Lodge. So what we would want to do is ask the question, did you all go online and try to rent the room from online? Because that's what I usually do. When they tell me they don't have a room, I go online and book the room and come inside with my reservation.
The rooms were previously booked online before they arrived. They drove in from Pennsylvania, booked the room, I think a day or two before their arrival here. One of the
Did they acknowledge the reservation?
They did acknowledge the reservation, and they were prepared to give her the room. And it was one room. They were prepared to give her the room until she asked if they could hold off on payment until I got there. And I was I think 5 minutes away. It didn't take me long to get to the hotel at all. And when she called the police, the thing that really caught my attention was when she picked up the phone with the police, she began to cry and to say what was going on. And the moment she hung up the phone, she looked at us, all of that expression went away, and she gave us a sly smirk. And my lingering concern is, if I didn't have access to the people that I have access to, which way would this have went? And how often does this take place in our community that goes unnoticed?
Unreported.
Unreported.
Mhm, mhm. Probably quite frequently.
Yeah.
So what we will do, we will accept the complaint, but what we have to do is get back with you in terms of, and the people to find out exactly what transpired with the police department. We need to investigate that part. We need to look into what the mayor has spoken about, the owner, exactly what the owner has done about it. And I'm sure he is going to give her a report back, but we would ask you, when you do that, would you make sure that you get it in writing? Make sure that it's in writing, whatever decision that they made concerning this, that we know how to go forward in the future if we hear about this happening again. Because I do have people that have come here and have stayed at their facility, And I would not recommend that if we don't have full disclosure. So does anyone else have any questions that they would like to ask Commissioner Boone about this complaint?
I don't have a question for Commissioner Boone, but I did have a question for Mayor, if you know about the process about getting the police cam footage, like, do we have to file anything specific to request that kind of information between the department and us?
I don't know, but I can check into it. I really don't know on that one. I just know that I had reached out, to Chief Emmerich that night, and he did answer his phone, which was great. And I just said, because it was late at night, and I just, apprised him of the situation. And I said, I know you have officers en route, but I just want you to, be aware of what's, because they probably have no idea what they're being called out there for. And so Chief Emmerich was aware as it was unfolding and was in touch with those officers on that situation that evening. But I don't know about the process of getting those body cams.
Okay,
But he might have told D'Angelo.
yeah,
The
Or
body
Commissioner
cams are already available to us,
okay.
and. he's
Body
actually
cam
gonna
is
travel
available. Okay.
tomorrow. And I just gotta go to the police department tomorrow and pick him up.
Okay.
Okay, so since we do not have another meeting before January, would you ask him, would it be possible that he could send it, send it encrypted to our email? And we can view it, or we can come in individually and view it, if that is what he would like us to do, so that we can see it and have a better understanding of the process that happened.
Can you tell us, since you were there, what happened after the police arrived, though? I have not heard that part of the story at all.
Once the police arrived, I met the officers outside, and I had a conversation with one of the officers while the other officer went inside to talk to the hotel attendant. And honestly, I think they handled themselves well. The situation didn't escalate, and we were able to discuss what was going on. And I know the officers have a job they have to do, and so they went and they talked to the attendant. I talked to them again, and they talked to the woman that was there as well. And yeah, I think they did really. I think they handled themselves well in that situation. I was pleased that it didn't escalate. That the officers were very understanding, and they told us that we did have to leave the premises because the hotel attendant was asking us to do so, which I understood. And that was pretty much, that was it. And that they would have a conversation with the attendant and report it back.
So I know they did get lodging somewhere else, because you had told me that. How did that go about? Was it as a result, did anybody help you then in that process, or did you just out on your own find another place?
We went on our own and found another place. We sat in the parking lot at the Hampton for maybe about a half an hour. And I made phone calls to hotels to see which one. I know Holiday Inn was our first reach out, and they were booked. And we called the Carlton Lodge, and we called Super 8. But we went with Super 8. And that's where they realized that.
Okay.
And how are the young ladies doing today, D'Angelo?
I'm sorry.
How are the young ladies doing today?
They're doing all right. They're still frustrated when I talk about the situation. My hope and my goal is we have conferences and conventions, and we are often inviting individuals into Adrian. And we want them to have a good experience, and that's not the walkway that we want them to have when they leave.
I hope that you express to them that that is not how Adrian is. And hopefully you can convey that to them, that we would like them to come back on a better note.
I expressed that we are pushing to make proper changes and
Exactly.
create more diversity and awareness in our
Mhm.
community. Because it's not just Adrian, it's also the surrounding cities. Yeah.
And the most important thing is if you pay, services should be rendered.
Yes.
And if there is something that you're doing wrong, then, the police may need to be called, but I'm questioning why that was the first option, calling the police. And that's what escalates a lot of things for not only for the individuals, but also for the police officers. So that's not making it safe for anyone as far as I can see. So I think like we talked about different agencies that are advocates for different things, like we talking about for the homeless or somebody that, you know, really needed that space, you know. We just need to be able to reach out and touch not only the individuals, but I think maybe what we can do is send a letter to the two ladies and let them know that it's been presented to us, and let them know, and it will have to come from our HRC as a group, okay? That we are sending a letter acknowledging, we haven't made a decision because we don't make the final decision. But what we do is acknowledge that we received the complaint and let them know that we will be investigating as much as possible. Okay. Any other comments on this part of our agenda? Okay, so we have no action that we have to take on that at this time, but we will ask Commissioner Boone if he would talk to the chief of police about the video. And the mayor, and you follow up with the owner. Thank you, Mayor. All right, the next order of business is to talk about the town hall meeting that we had. Any comments or?
I think it was good. I am a little bit concerned at how many we had. Like, granted, there was a good reason to. A lot of them were connected. But I also am concerned that maybe it's a little bit overloading by the time you're nearing more than halfway through. I think it was great information, and I'm glad we had it. I hope that we'll remain in contact with those organizations going forward. I just do have a little bit concern about how digestible it all was.
I know that Lynn Punnett was here in house for that, and she did reach out to me. She gave me some feedback on some things that she had presented on that I will be passing along to you. I just got it today and I was busy, but she did express that she thought that this was really great, that she really wanted to stay. She really wanted to hear about legal services. She just had another meeting, that was why. But she said that she unfortunately had another booked meeting that night, but she really appreciated and thought this information was great, and that it was very good for the public to be aware and to get this knowledge. And she had been really looking forward to also hearing from legal services. So I told her she can go, you know, watch the Zoom by, you know, going to a HRC meeting. But she was very impressed and really thought it was really great info.
Others?
I felt like it was very informative. I'm just thinking maybe if we have, moving forward, maybe if we have like every quarter, we could have a town hall meeting. And then we could have like a couple people, and then another quarter have some folks come in. That might be an option too.
No, that is what we were discussing in the pre-meeting about the planning of next year. So in January, we're going to come together after all of you have come with your ideas, and we will put together a plan for the entire year if we can. Everything may not happen, depend on what's going on with not only COVID, but the weather. But we will definitely attempt to do as many as we can within reason, okay? So we're going to be working on planning, and we're going to be working on coming together with those plans. We do have a budget, and we do have $1,500 plus 500 that we can use to, from our previous budget, that we can use to do some training. I'd like to see us have a training session sometime in 2022. That would be in not just the town halls. So, and also, we're going to be reaching out and trying to look at the article and other things that we have put in print, that we will review those things in the next time before January and come up with maybe things that you would like us to look at. Because we know we talked about at least talking about some of the articles that govern us, so that we can, be more aware and be more involved as possible with the community and those that are involved with the city. This has been a great time politically, making us aware of the different things that's been happening in the world, but we need to bring it back home and try to bring some people in here that would give us some insight, and also, like we did with the town halls, getting information. Now we need to put it in action. So with that in mind, let's think about those things as well for January's meeting, our pre-meeting and our regular meeting, so that we can get some things done. So maybe what we need to do, instead of having a speaker to come in January, we would just concentrate on the planning and moving things forward, because we can't vote in the pre-meeting. We will just discuss, and then we will meet and vote in the regular meeting. So if that would be the desire of the group, I'd like to hear that.
Well, I think we were still talking about the town hall. I think one or two people had a comment still. Am I wrong?
I was gonna say that I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the town hall. There's quite a bit of information, and I don't know if this is even possible, but just if it's able to be structured where we can have breakout groups. And that way, if there's some other information that people that would gravitate towards more than others, they can actually go into that breakout group to learn more about services. This is a thought I had while we we're in the town hall meeting.
Okay, others? Okay, so we're going to be thinking about what Commissioner Patton has said about having the meetings, and also for the planning and putting things together for January. So let's just focus on that. And if there's anything else you would like us to do, let's go forward. Training, learning, and also implementing. Because we've been doing it more training and teaching with the town halls. So it's possible that maybe next year we will be able to meet in a different place and have a greater audience, especially with police commissioner. I mean, the chief of police, I say police commissioner, it's law and order. So.
I have a question. Some time ago, we had a conversation setting over at the Adrian Armory dealing with diversity and
Yes.
inclusion.
Yes,
Is it possible to regroup a program like that and invite business owners from the community to be a part of that those conversations?
yes, we did have that planned, and the Armory was open for us to be able to come over there. The only reason we haven't moved in that direction is because they're not set up yet for us to be able to Zoom people in that aren't able to come. So that's why we're trying to hold it here at the chamber, so that we can include those people that were online for our town hall and also for our meetings. So that's just what the hold back up is now. So as soon as it's possible, to do that, we will be open to doing it. And that's a great idea, to have the business people come. The mayor also wanted us to have the new people from the city workers to come.
I really think too, thinking ahead to January, and we can talk about this in January, but I really would like to see, and I have a few connections, but I'm sure a lot of you have a lot of connections. Bring somebody in that is a diversity and inclusion expert and bring them into a town hall. And so we're learning, but so is the community. And really, maybe it's somebody that's taken a look at our community and can evaluate it. That's why I was saying maybe somebody from the outside that can come in and really give us great direction on where we can go as a community, but also where the Human Relations Commission can go to, to really bring about this diversity and inclusion that we want. And I know there's a lot of experts out there right now, and I just feel like that would be a really great opportunity. And it would be a learning time for us as well, but just a great town hall and to have those breakout, maybe discussion groups come out of that. And like, not necessarily where it's by topic breakout rooms, but, different things like that. And so, we did something similar to this where I used to work, and that's exactly, she was asking us the really hard questions, and we were really evaluating where our, where my place of business, like where we were at when it came to diversity and inclusion based off of these questions. And we were having to answer some pretty hard questions and like really taking a good look at ourselves. And, that might be a really great opportunity for our city. And then, maybe that's something we can present further on to the city commission based on that. I mean, we would invite them, but then if they don't come, or whatever, and we can move on and be that, and be that unifying group there that's informing and that is making sure diversity and inclusion is happening in our community like that, we've set out to do. So just a thought too, I think, it's a little bit different of a town hall type of setting, but I just feel like it's really needed. I felt like that for a while. So it's just a thought.
And it's a great thought, Mayor. Our speaker for the MLK dinner is a diversity inclusion consultant who is already working in Jackson with the school district there. He is going to be speaking, and it would be good if we're all there, we can hear him speak and introduce ourselves and maybe set up something with him, because he has been all involved in diversity and inclusion because that's part of his job. But it's also, he is a consultant that would come and be a new voice and a new one person coming to bring a new perspective. Because we've always had someone coming to this county in this city for years, but not the people that always need to hear about it and be participant in it. So let's work really hard to be present and introduce ourselves to him.
Well, and another thought to go along with that is like, if we were to bring somebody in, like we could maybe share the cost of this, because my vision, my personal vision with this is we bring in somebody that does training with the city hall staff.
Yeah.
For that, like actually does that with them and city commissioners as well. But maybe they would have to come because of being that they work jobs, come to our town hall, but make that a requirement where we're really trying to get that training in for our staff and for our city commission. And then we, also do that town hall that evening. So kind of clump it all together so that we're really encompassing the whole that whole outlook. That's really kind of where I was thinking on that. That's just my personal, but I also feel that is something really great. And that, we've mentioned that before on the HRC that, we really think there does need to be some diversity and inclusion training for our, our city employees and for our city commission, not just ourselves. So just another avenue to take with that. And that was kind of where I was going with it and forgot to put that little part on there. But that was, and then it wouldn't be all burdened on us with bringing in somebody either, because, we can share that. Because if we're all going to use, so let's bring in an expert and try to get that training for everyone.
That sounds great, Ware. What would be good if we could work towards that for the next town hall that we
That's
attach
something
it.
that I had written down over here too, was kind of focusing on city departments next, because we've worked on the outside and we know what's available out there, and now we can start focusing in and work on trainings. So, because all of these outside organizations are great, but a lot of times the city experience, or we meet up with these people when they come to City Hall, or if they come into the health or the police department, or the Parks and Rec, work with the people in the parks. So making sure that across the board, it's not just the HRC that has this training. It needs to be the entire city, like from top to bottom. So I'm glad we're all on the same page there. That makes me happy.
That's great. This is good discussion. Also wanted to comment on the diversity and inclusion training that we had a few years ago. We included the city and fire department. And I think it will be more receptive for them, the city hall individuals, to have their own separate one and not with us, so that they can be more comfortable in the space, because it's harder to do diversity and training with individuals and you clumping off in groups. And that's what we ended up doing. We had this section and that buddy themselves, and we buddy over here, instead of getting the full impact of the diversity. So I think if you do City Hall and then commissioners with the commissioners would be good. We can think about that too. Okay, we're coming up with some great ideas. I love it. Okay, any other comments? Any other comments about our town hall meeting that we had? I'd just like to say, I thought it was great. I got great feedback from everyone that listened and stayed on. We had some on Zoom. We had some that watched it afterwards, and very excited about it. But the question was, it was a little bit too long on some of the groups. So we did say 7 to 10 minutes. It didn't quite work out that way. All the information was good, but in order to do it, I think with Commissioner Ramos said, we have less groups and that would be great. So we learned a lot, but we got a lot of information as well. So any other comments before we go on to the next?
I just wanted to make sure that you guys all know that it's up on YouTube. I'm sure you do, but I just shared it like on my Facebook and made sure that all of my friends knew what was in it, kind of like broke down what the groups were. Because if you forward through, it's a long video, but I don't watch YouTube videos from start to finish. I kind of fast forward through. So it's
Section it.
good that we had the PowerPoint presentations, because they can fast forward to, and then you can see, oh, that's where Community Action Agency shows up and stuff like that. So I don't know, I just wanted to make sure that everyone shares our videos, because I think that's how information gets out now, especially to groups and stuff like that.
And I know you were on, and I know you're talking about the video, but you were also on Zoom. And so how was it on that side of it, or from watching the video?
It was good and it was helpful. And I think a lot of the time, because I was at home trying to do other things, so I was listening to it like it was a podcast. Like I was just carrying my phone around with me, listening to it, and you would still get all of the information. So I know when to tune back in. Like I wanted to hear what Elizabeth said again. So I went to the video and fast forwarded to like, oh, I knew she said this here. So it's a good use of our technology, and I'm really glad that we're making that available for everyone that wasn't able to come, or maybe had to tune out, or was doing something else and a kid was talking to you or something like that. But I'm really glad that we're using this platform and this technology that maybe those organizations don't have on their own to make their own media shareable and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm glad we're doing that.
Thank you for that, because I think we all gained something from this process of having it online and in person. And you see, most all of our speakers were online. And we were glad that they had that. But we wouldn't have changed their presentations and let Michelle do it next time, because one section, he talked about each section, but he did not move the screen. So we thought it was frozen. But anyway, thank you so much. If there's nothing else concerning the town hall, is there any other new business that we would like to talk about? I think we talked about most of it anyway. All right, is there any public comment? We open it up for public comment at this time.
I have one. I was just gonna let you guys know that I can send the video out to you tomorrow via email.
Thank you. We appreciate that. Any other comments from the public? Hearing no others. Commissioner comments? Hearing none. Announcements.
All right, I have a couple of things. One, like I said, in pre-meeting, second Friday, A3, second Friday is December 10th, and it will be at 301 South Tecumseh Street. And it'll be available both via Facebook and in person. And then also I'd like to say, I got my booster shot yesterday. It's definitely kicking my gluteus maximus. I am quite tired. But I definitely recommend everyone who can get it, just so you have that extra protection. And to warn you, you will probably be sore and might want a nap. I want a nap.
Okay. Commissioner Boone, can you get it?
I always want a nap. So, just wanted to announce that One Voice Lenawee aired his first show this past Monday, and it airs every second and fourth Monday at 6 p.m. It is live on YouTube. There's also a Facebook page to follow as well. And our first guest for the first show was Dr. Yarrow, president of Charles and Virginia Hickman Hospital. And there's a lot of great information regarding vaccinations and to answer some questions that folks may have had in community regarding the vaccinations. And just inviting everyone to be a part of the show. And if you go to the YouTube page, please hit the subscribe button.
Okay. All right, any other announcements? Okay, I have one. The MLK dinner will be January 17th, 2022 at 6 o'clock at the Tobias Room at Adrian College. It's limited this year to 200 people. And so far the tickets are going pretty good. And we're asking if you're interested in becoming a part of that, would you get in touch with me or any member of the MLK committee? And we're asking those that are interested. It's Dr. J. Marks is going to be our speaker. He's from Oakland School District, but he's also a consultant for diversity and inclusion. So we're looking forward to hearing him and also meeting him. The cost is $25 per person or $200 for a table of 6. If you're interested, please contact me or others on the committee. All right, there's no other announcements. I'm open for adjournment. Motion?
I motion to adjourn.
Commissioner Boone, I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Have a good Thanksgiving.